Welcome, my name's Nick. Today we're going to look at a basic yoga sequence on your back. If you've never done yoga before, if you don't have any kind of specialized equipment, if you're not comfortable coming onto your hands and your knees or sitting cross-legged on the ground, then you're in the right spot. We'll look at some breathing techniques, basic core engagement, and spinal mobilization. So if that sounds good, then let's get started. Begin by lying down on your back with your knees bent and feet placed hip distance apart. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. Close your eyes and give yourself a few moments to breathe naturally. Breathe in and out through your nose. And take a few moments to just become aware where in your torso you feel like you have the breath. Try to observe whether it's in the belly, whether it's in the chest, whether you feel it in the sides of the waist, along the ribs. And begin to exhale more fully through your nose. Feel your lungs empty all the way down to the very base of your hips, and begin the next breath inhaling into your abdomen. Feel your abdomen expand first, then the chest, and feel your exhale, your chest deflate first, and then the abdomen. Take about 5 more breaths like that, taking full breaths in and out through the nose. Exhaling from the top of the chest first, all the way down to the base of the abdomen, and inhaling from the abdomen all the way up to the top of the chest. So throughout our lesson today, give about 20% of your attention to focusing on the breath, keeping the breath smooth and even, and keeping the same breathing pattern, inhaling from the bottom to the top, and exhaling from the top to the bottom. All right, bring your hands down by your sides, keeping your breath nice and even. Push your belly down into the ground. Check with your hand. If you can slide your hand under your back, then push more through your belly. You might need to lift your hips up slightly to get your low back to make contact all the way down to the ground. Push your belly down into the ground as you exhale. Engage through the muscle of the core. And again, breathe in from the bottom up to the top. Take about 5 more breaths here, focusing on core engagement all the way down as you exhale, keeping the core engaged, the low back pushing down as you breathe in. So throughout all of our core work today, the core work is just a vehicle to train your mind to connect to the muscles around the core every time you exhale. Imagine pushing your belly in towards your spine, pushing the low back down towards the floor. Begin by sliding your hands underneath your hips. Lift your heels off the ground and pull your knees over your hips. Take a moment here, feel engaged through the core every time you exhale. Breathe from the bottom of the belly up to the top of the chest as you inhale. Keeping your core engaged as you inhale, slowly drop your right heel towards the floor. As soon as you feel your low back popping up away from the ground, you've gone too far, bring your knees back together. Reset the core, make sure the low belly is pushing down to the ground before you begin again on the other side. Inhale, lower your left leg until you feel the low back just about to lift up off the ground, and exhale, pull your knees back up over your hips. Again, same thing on the right side. Inhale, keep the core engaged, low back pushing down. Exhale, bring the knees back over the hips. Again, on the other side. Inhale, stretch through the left leg. Exhale, lift your knee back up over the hips. One more time each side. Inhale, straighten. Exhale up. And again, inhale, straighten. And exhale all of the way up. Very nice. Put your feet back down to the ground, remove your hands from underneath your hips, and windshield wiper your knees left and right a couple times. So we're going to continue with our core engagement. You're welcome to repeat what we just did, keeping the hands underneath the hips, or set yourself up with your arms alongside your body, but try to engage the core in the same way. Push the low back down to the ground. You might need to lift your hips and scoop the tailbone a little bit. Make firm contact through the core, through the low back, into the floor, and lift your knees up and over your hips again. So again, starting here, or what we just had, same thing, hands under the hips. Same idea. Push through the core. Keep the low back on the ground as you inhale. Slowly lower the right leg. As soon as you notice your low back popping up off the ground, exhale, bring the knees back up. Same thing other side. Inhale. Exhale, knees over the hips. Again, inhale. Exhale, knees over the hips. Again, inhale. And exhale, back up one last time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, back up. Other side, inhale, straighten. And exhale all the way back up. Very nice. Plant your feet. Windshield wiper the knees left and right. Release a little bit through the core. Continue focusing about 20% of your attention on the breath. Full deep breaths in. Even steady breaths out. Breathing through the nose. We're going to do one more round. You can repeat what we just did. Hands under the hips or hands out to the sides. Knees over the hips. Low back pushing down into the floor. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lift. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, up. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale up. One last time. Inhale, straighten. Exhale up. And again, inhale. And exhale all the way up. Nice. Plant your feet. And again, windshield wiper the knees left and right. All right. Set your feet on the ground, hip distance apart, and check, maybe, if you can, make sure that the toes, the heels, and the knees are all pointing straight forward. Your toes aren't pointing out to the side, the knees aren't pulling in, everything is in one straight line. Touch your fingertips towards your shoulders and draw big circles in the air with your elbows to set your shoulder blades all the way around, down and back, making firm contact to the floor with the backs of the shoulder blades. Bend your elbows and push the elbows down firmly into the ground. We're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time, starting with the hips. Scoop the tailbone down towards the heels. Begin to roll up slowly, lifting up first the hips, then the low back. Continue thrusting the elbows down, lifting the hips up, all the way up to the tops of the shoulders if you can. Hold up and breathe slowly. Full deep breaths, exhaling all the way down to the hips. Inhaling all the way up to the chest for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Lower down slowly, starting from the shoulders, down to the back of the ribs, then the low back, and then the hips all the way down last. Good. Drop your hands to the side, windshield wiper the knees left and right a couple more times. Full, deep, relaxing breaths here. So you're welcome to practice bridge pose the same way. Or if you are walking your shoulders far enough back, you can get the flats of your shoulder blades to make contact with the ground as you come up, rolling up slowly one vertebrae at a time. Once you get to the top of your bridge pose, walk your elbows together behind your back, straighten the elbows, clasp your hands behind your back. Once you have your hands clasped, drive the back of your hands down towards the ground. Lift the chest up a little bit more. Continue trying to walk the shoulder blades together. So, holding here, or repeating again, driving the elbows down. Hold for another 5 full breaths. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Release your hands if you have them clasped. Slowly lower all the way down again, starting with the shoulders, then the back of the ribs, the low back, and finally the hips. Windshield wiper the knees left and right. All right, very good. We're going to do one more round of bridge pose. Repeat either of those. Elbows bent, driving the elbows down, or walking the shoulder blades farther back to clasp the hands under the back. Either or, set yourself up. Slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. Reach your hips up as high as they're going to go, getting the tops of the shoulders up as high as they're going to be, and either elbows driving down or hands clasping together behind your back. Hold and breathe for 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Release your hands if they're clasped and lower all of the way back down, one vertebrae at a time until the hips come all the way down to the ground. Again, windshield wiper the knees left and right. Full deep breaths. All right. Take your hands out wide to a T with the pinky side of the hand on the ground. Again, lift your knees up over your hips and squeeze your thighs together. Here, try to keep the knees in line, try to keep the hips in line. We're going to begin by slowly, for a count of 5, lowering the knees down to the right. As you lower down to the right, you're going to need to push the right arm firmly down into the ground. Again, the knees stay together, the hips stay together. Slowly lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Bring your legs back through center and set up again on your back. Start with the core. Low back pushes down to the ground. Lift the knees over the hips. The same thing on the other side. Squeeze the thighs together. Slowly begin to drop down to the left for a count of 5, 4, 3, push down to the floor through the left arm, 2, and 1, all the way down to the ground, and roll back through center. Again on the right side, set up the core, slowly lower to the right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and my microphone in the way here. and 1, all the way down. Lift your knees all the way back up over your hips, and set up again on the left side. Knees over the hips, slowly lower down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Legs all the way down. Set your feet back to the center. Last time. Knees over the hips, lower down slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way down. Step the feet back through center. Last time on the left side. Lower down slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step the feet back through center. This time, straighten your legs out and shake your legs. Full deep breaths here. So again, you can repeat that, lowering down slow and stepping your feet back through center. Or, for this next round, set up the same way, push the low back down, lift the knees over the hips, lower down slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Instead of stepping back, push the right arm down, lift the knees with control, back up over the hips. Keep the thighs squeezing together. Same thing, other side. Lower down slow on the left. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step the feet back through center or pull through the core. Lift the knees back up over the hips. Again on the right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back up. And again, down slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull back up. Last time. Lower down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull back up. And on the left, slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pull all the way back up. Set your feet, legs straight on the ground. Give your legs a shake. Okay, one more round of this, repeating what we just did, pulling the legs back up through center, or, like we did the first time, stepping the legs back through center. Set your hands out wide, bend your knees, keep the low back pushing into the floor, lower down slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, pull back up or step your feet back up. And on the left side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back up. Again, slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the thighs squeezing together. Back up. And on the left side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All the way back up. One more time, slow all the way down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull back up. And on the other side, slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull all the way back up. Straighten the legs. Give the legs a shake. Return to the breath. Reconnect. Full deep breaths in. Deep, even breaths out through the nose. All right. Step your legs to the left and either keep your legs together or stack your right ankle over the top of your left ankle. Walk your shoulders to the left and stretch your right arm up and overhead, keeping the arm alongside the ear, getting a long stretch through the right side of your body. As you reach your right hand up and overhead, you might notice that your right shoulder peels away from the ground, your right hip peels away from the ground. Inhale, stretch your right hand up as far as you can, and on the exhale, try to twist through your belly. Try to reach the right hip back down to the floor and the right shoulder back down to the floor. So we're going to kind of play with both ends. Inhale, reach, get a longer stretch through the right side, and exhale, engage the core, bring the right hip and the right shoulder back down to the ground. 5 full deep breaths like that. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Walk your feet back through the center, bring your right arm down, walk your shoulders back through the center, and set up on the other side. Walk your feet to the right, either keeping your legs together or stacking your left ankle over the top of your right ankle. Walk your shoulders to the right. Reach your left hand up and overhead. Get a long stretch through the left side of the body. And the same thing, as you stretch to the side, you might notice that your left shoulder peels up away from the ground, your left hip peels up away from the ground. That's okay. Grow longer and stretch to the left side as you inhale. And use your core. Imagine twisting your core to the left to bring the hip and the shoulder back down as you exhale. Doesn't have to be dramatic. It might just be working with the breath, trying to imagine the shoulders and the hips coming back down. Work with the breath. Inhale, grow longer through the side body. And exhale, reaffirm strength in the left side. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step your feet back through center. Walk your shoulders back through center. Bend both of your knees. This time, reach and grab hold either the backs of your thighs or the fronts of your knees to pull your knees up in towards your chest. Whatever you're hanging onto, the fronts of the knees, the backs of the thighs. Give yourself a gentle massage, rocking left and right on your back. Rock left and right for about 5 full breaths. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten your legs out in front of you. Set your arms down by your sides. One more time, walk your shoulders down your back by circling your elbows up, around, and down. Keeping your feet engaged. Imagine you're going to be standing, but you have your back on the ground. So pull your toes up towards your hips. Imagine your feet are pushing into the wall on the feet side. Drive your heels down into the floor until you feel the backs of your legs begin to engage. Push your hands back down into the ground. Push your shoulders back down into the ground until you feel the backs of the arms begin to engage. And push the back of your head down into the ground until you feel the muscles of your back begin to engage. Feel your whole back body strong as you breathe and hold here. You're not lifting the whole body up. You're just engaging through the muscles of the back. Breathe for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently relax. Feel yourself sink down into the ground. Release all tension and effort and relax on your back. Close your eyes. release control of the breath, and enjoy a nice Savasana. Thank you, and until next time.